Remember when Dan Quayle had misspelled potato and that sunk his campaign? And those were the good old days. So here's Olivia Munn. And Olivia Munn, she is my age, and she's had an extraordinary career. She's acted in X-Men, and she was a part of G4, and she was a correspondent on The Daily Show. And she had recently said something on the Monica Lewinsky podcast, which is interesting. Monica doesn't even look like the Monica that I remember back in the 90s. But this is Olivia Munn. This is Olivia Munn. And she said a whole bunch of things, actually. She was saying how when she was younger, she had a tumultuous childhood. She was saying, which is fascinating in of itself, she is one of 5 kids. So she had a tumultuous childhood. She's one of 5 kids. She felt like she had to always be extra feisty. And then because she had been bullied as a child, she valued justice above everything. Justice above everything. That's more important than anything. Which that's one of the 6 end objects of the Constitution of the United States. And so as any American citizen, any good American citizen knows, that established justice plus protected freedom, and we're supposed to do some domestic tranquility, and then there's also some common defense, and then we're supposed to promote the general welfare and to perfect the union. So that's awesome, because if you're virtuous, well then the virtue leads the behavior, right? You're not just doing something for the money, you're doing something for the inherent goodness of it. And that's the story that I'm going to tell you right now. So there's a podcast right here, and this is Reclaiming with Monica Lewinsky. Now the incident was a traumatic incident on set right at around 2017, and they had offered Olivia Munn an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, in exchange for a 7-figure settlement. So she had a traumatic incident that had happened on the set, and I wonder if it has to do with Brett Ratner, because in 2004, Olivia Munn and 6 others had accused director Brett Ratner of masturbating in front of her while she visited the set of After the Sunset. He had masturbated in front of her in his trailer. And that happened in 2004, but she had talked about it in 2017. And who knows if that's the same incident, because they wanted to settle. Here's, they said 7 figures, so we'll say $1.2 million. We're going to give you a lot of money, $1.2 million, to settle this thing, but you're going to have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Well, she said no. And she walked away proud about that. She says it was a lot of money, but not to her, and it wasn't enough to keep her silent. Because what they're going to do is paint over the episode as, to minimize her experiences. Now, I really like Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn, like I said, was on The Daily Show. And then you have, she was super playful and fun. I remember she was doing this interview with Aziz Ansari, and she was being super playful and fun, and then Aziz Ansari was being so reserved. It was kind of like, why is he being so reserved? And then later on, of course, we all find out about how Aziz Ansari was wrongly Me Too'd. He went on a bad date, and then she had said that he was awful, but I bet you him being so damn reserved, I don't know, I just remember her and Aziz Ansari were like interacting with each other, and she was just being so fun and playful, and I'm like, Aziz, You're Randy, right? You're tough and fun Randy. Why? How come you're not interacting better with her? They asked her if she had to visit one historical figure in the past. She said Thaddeus Stevens. How super progressive, smart, intelligent is that? If you had to visit one historical figure, if you could take a time machine and go back in the past, who would you like to talk to? Thaddeus Stevens. Thaddeus Stevens, of course, being the radical Republican during the Lincoln administration. Well, he was a senator, right? So if she could go back in the past, she would go talk to this grumpy, blue-eyed man here. Which he's awesome. He's a cool guy, so don't let his little smirk fool you. So she was very proud when she walked out of that interview, and here is her talking about it right here.
There were other things that happened on this movie set personally to me that was really not okay, and it was so traumatic that I had to file complaints with the studio, and there's a lot of other little things that go along with it, but it got to this place where I was offered a lot of money, 7 figures, to accept, I guess, their apology and them taking acknowledgement of it, but it came along with an NDA. And not that I would ever have talked about it, truly, because I wanted to move past it all. And that's why I don't want to talk about the things and the specific things that happened in that situation.
This is called Reclaiming with Monica Lewinsky. Is this Monica Lewinsky? Because, still beautiful, but she just looks so different. She just, different hair color, thinner face, and then much older too, right? So she'd probably be in her 40s or 50s. How old is Monica Lewinsky? And then how old is Olivia Munn? So Monica Lewinsky is 51 years of age. And then how old is Olivia Munn? 44. So she's actually a year older than me.
But I said, I'm not signing an NDA. And they said, you have to. And I just felt that it was so wrong. And at this time, specifically, this was like in the beginning of the Me Too Time's Up.
The 2.0, right?
Yeah,
so the online, right? Because Tarana Burke started, right, 10 years.
Oh, yes,
right? So the online version.
So this was the reckoning,
right.
The Harvey Weinstein reckoning that began it all, okay? This was that time period. And this is when people were targeting anyone who signed an NDA, saying, oh, you only did it for the money. So I was afraid,
right,
that my voice in speaking up would be would just reverse any kind of validity to my voice, and I was concerned that they would leak it out. I was concerned that the studio, in an effort to diminish my voice, would leak out that I had signed an NDA for money. And I was in that meeting. The lawyers said, you take some time to think about it. We'll step outside. And I turned to my lawyer and I said, I'm not taking it. And so I told my lawyer, I said, I'm just not going to do it. I want to say no now. He's like, let's think about it. I said, I want to say no now. And that comes into the feistiness of not thinking things through and being so upset and frustrated that this would be the offer to me. I did not think about negotiating. I did not think about anything besides how disrespectful that was. So when they came in, I said to my lawyer, and I want to say it. And he was like, well, let it be. And I was like, I want to say it. And I remember looking at them in the eyes, and there was 3 people. One had fallen asleep. And so I'm like, so clearly you take this very seriously. But the person who said to me, like, this is a lot of money, and they didn't say it in the kind way that, I'm actually saying now. It was disrespectful. It was like, hey, this is a lot of money.
Right.
You'd be crazy not to take this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Just sign it. And I said to him, I know this is a lot of money to you, but it is not a lot of money to me to lose my voice. And we walked out of there, and I remember feeling so proud when I walked out.
Yeah.
So proud of myself. And shortly after that, California made NDAs illegal. And I was like, oh my gosh. And and look, was it the right thing to do? And do the people in my life think that I did the right thing and are proud of me for that? Yes. But I wish that it's not that I wouldn't have ended up with the same decision.
Right.
It's that I made that decision based on anger. And that is something that I had to learn how to rein in and use for my benefit. But the only time I've realized that I've benefited from it is when I have taken the time to really think about things and digest it and talk it out.
Was that experience what led you into kind of diving deeper into your healing work, or was that a result that you felt you could sort of stand behind your voice in that way, was a result of having done the personal work?
The catalyst was getting out of a relationship that had drained me and left me just